entire length of this candle, we go over here. Right now, we are actually at the 786 from the sell-off originally. So price is going to meet some overhead resistance here for BTC, everybody. Be in the lookout. Just be aware. Just make sure if you're in these positions to have stops to break even as we're trading this back up. So mind you, this is a swing trade. So we're going to test and ride the chop. It's like a wave. It's like we're coming in and out of an inlet. You know, it's you know, there's going to be some chop. There's going to be the wave up, the impulse, the pullback, the impulse, the pullback. But of course, we know the trajectory and the direction of the trade. So for now, we are still in Bitcoin longs. We are in XRP buys. I hope you filled at the beginning of the session. It was a great entry once again. And Ethereum is actually at our original buy position that was actually sent out on the chat. Not on the chat, excuse me, my prior trade that actually hit stop loss, unfortunately. So I'm going to cover that really quickly. I want to take some time with ETH because I want this to be extremely educational for you all, because I know that for many of us, this probably happens, and including me, including all traders, because how can I put it to you in a way that really makes sense? When we generate an entry or we look for a level to either buy from or sell from, all we are doing is gathering as much evidence and bias to be able to enter a position from a certain slot in price, right? So whether we buy, for example, here, or we decide to buy here, it all has a drastic change, of course, on the result. Because if you would have bought in the low, you would have been into instant profit. If you would have bought over here, you would have been in huge drawdown until you eventually had profit. Or if you would have bought where I originally sent that ETH position, we would have been stopped out in the move and validated. I want to teach you guys how to understand and trade these positions, all right? So let me look over here on the chat box, everybody. Give me a second here, everyone. And I actually want to see if the scalper has anything. Scalper's looking like we're flipping this overhead resistance into support, all right? Let me see. We're looking at ETH, and Bitcoin has already made the move. So for now, we're not looking at any position per se here on the scalper. I'd like to see if maybe any harmonic printing pattern does pop up. But for now, the only live trade, we just entered this trade. So for those of you that, I know a lot of people jump on these go live sessions and go, Nick, I want to trade. Nick, I want to trade. Well, folks, we're in a trade. I'm still looking for longs here with XRP. I'm going to break that down here in a little bit. We had an ETH USD buy opportunity here as well called on the scanner here at about 3,100 here early morning by NOS. This was a great setup that played out here for ETH. So I hope some of you guys were able to catch this lower move or the original ETH position that was called here by the scanner. It only went to about TP1 and then it flushed lower, and so far that position is in profit. So let's step into here. This is going to be really educational. We're in a trade. Folks, who's in profit? Who's in profit with XRP? If you took that position early session, we were just around here, 154, 155. Folks, you are in profit, pushing a little bit more. So let me see over here. Yeah, folks, I'm reading the chat box. Listen to me. That was our first loss on Ethereum for the month. Let me actually check the sheet. Give me a second. If I'm not mistaken, that we've had 5 wins with ETH this month and 1 loss. 5 wins, 1 loss with ETH. And hey, listen, you can't look there. There's typically a trader could have really high probable win rate, right? But sometimes it could get away from you, and that's also something I want to talk about. We've been really hot this month with Swipecoin, and I hope that you guys are not over leveraging just because we're in a hot streak or just because we're in a hot month. Because put it like this. Let's say you would have caught all those 5 wins with ETH with me, and I sent that new trade, that 6th trade that was a loss, and you over leverage, and you could have potentially now destroyed or eliminated all of those profits with the 5 prior trades, if not worse, below your account all because you are over leveraging the fact that, you know, we're on a hot streak or swipe point is in this type of results. And folks, that's the wrong mentality to have. You gotta really, really follow that risk management. You gotta follow the same lot sizes. You gotta follow your same rules, no matter if the trader is very accurate, constantly accurate, because I know you could get excited and be like, man, Picasso's on a roll, Sean is on a roll, you know, Nick is on a roll, but you don't want then that one loss to just completely, you know, blow out all your profits or your potential account. So try to, because I know that happened. Look, I know that happened on that last ETH trade I sent. And I know that I was saying, hey, buying lower. But folks, when I keep entering these positions, I'm not risking 50% of my account, 40% of my account, not even 10%, not even 5%. I am following the correct risk management. And even though I know that I've been right, but folks, this is something that I've been taught through sports and in trading. You're only as good as your next trade. What's in the past is in the past. I don't care that I am, I think I'm 13-1 this month. That's great. But it doesn't matter, because what matters is the next position. Does that make sense? I could talk about all these results. It's like people that talk about all the results back 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Oh, I did this, I did that. It doesn't matter. The next position's what matters. So you got to have that lot size correct, that emotion in check, and follow your risk profile correctly, folks. Because if not, you're going to fall into that mindset that this is a lottery, and that every single trade Picasso sends, I'm gonna go crazy with 2 lots, 3 lots, 5 lots, and then you get upset over the result just because, you know, the loss came. And the reason I could speak with this from with a lot of value behind it and experience is because that used to be me. I used to once take signals and positions and trade ideas back in the day. And I knew when a trader got into a hot streak, I could take their positions, and sometimes when it didn't go my way, I learned the hard lesson. And it's not the trader's fault, it's not the product's fault, it's not the service's fault, it's the plan, the trading plan that you are following. So I wanted to really talk about that really quickly, everybody, because that was our first loss here in a little bit. I think we have 10 wins in a row. I didn't even want to talk about that. I didn't want to start putting on the Telegram or on SwipeCoin that we were X amount of wins in a row due to the psychology that I was going to create behind people, and I knew individuals were going to start over leveraging. So we're still in buys, BUY, we're longing, we are buying XRP USD. We entered at the beginning of the session, so some of you guys should already be in profit. Is anyone in blue? Let me see. Anyone in blue? Let me see. Let me see. Is anybody in blue, everybody? If you guys re-entered this position, there's been a lot of chop. Alright, fantastic. You guys are in profit. Sweet deal, folks. Hopefully we get this push towards the daily close. It looks like we're forming a really nice amount of support. So here we go. Hey, if you really want to have a breakthrough here with trading, pay close attention here. Here we go. So we're in a trade. You're happy. You're making money. Fantastic. Now let's put some education behind everything, because I think it's a little bit more important. All right, fantastic. So here we are. I sent the trade. If I'm not mistaken, it was about 32.40, 32.20. Okay, back it up. So here we are. This is where we were originally, okay? So if you do not know the position that I'm talking about, let's go in here really, really quickly. I hope everyone is aware that we have this website. This is called myswipecoin.im. Everything that you have on the app, you are going to have on the website, okay? So here is one of our losses that we had, okay? Here is the position that I sent. This was an ETH USD. We were buying from 32.40 to 32.20. Now, I want to discuss and really break down this loss because it's going to help you guys, honestly. Let's extend this level. Here we go. So I was looking. This was my confluence. And there was a lot. I was very confident of this trade. It didn't change my lot size, but I was very confident of the setup. And I'll break it down why. And let me show you guys how this position didn't play out and how you could start learning as to when you spot these patterns or when you spot these types of positions that they happen in the market, how to react or what to be looking at for following zones. So if we look here in the chart, let's kind of take out these trend lines because they really won't be that useful. What we do have right now here is we have a parallel channel tool. We have the high, we got a pivot, and we got our support, right? This was the entry level that I gave, okay? As you can see from it, we're here on the 1 hour chart. This was a solid level to long. Prior resistance, flip support, acted as resistance, support, resistance, and we have not touched this level. So in my eyes, if ETH was gonna continue, okay, if ETH was gonna continue this explosion that we've been seeing, this momentum that we've been seeing, I expected price to quite honestly just fall right at the 618. So if you guys even look at the position that I sent, I had the 618 entry, that would have been our lower entry, and also on the MA, on the 1 hour, we had the 200 there. So it looked like a really good setup. And I love covering losses because it happens to me, it happens to Picasso, it happens to a lot of traders. It's part of the game, right? It's part of trading, but it's not about how many wins and losses you have. It's about really how much pips and profits you are. Okay, how much positive equity do you have at the end of the week, at the end of the month, and at the end of the quarter? Okay, so this is really clean. I thought this setup was extremely accurate, to be honest with everybody. But what happened? So we started to see a little sell-off. I was expecting price to fall, and boom. I like that reaction that we have at the level. I sent over the trade. Fantastic. We filled. Now, this is the problem now. And this, for those of you guys that are a little bit more technical and are learning this now on your own, you have to be looking both. So whatever asset you want to trade, you got to be looking at Bitcoin. Okay? You gotta always keep in mind, especially if you're leveraged trading on margin, on futures, on MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, wherever it is that you are margin trading, you have to keep an eye on BTC. BTC currently, for the most part, will influence Ethereum and XRP. There are certain occasions where ETH might not respect Bitcoin's move as much, or XRP might not respect the move as much. But if Bitcoin is struggling and is creating an impulse in either direction, it will create a ripple effect into ETH and XRP. So at this very time, BTC, let me see if I use this tool. Oh, perfect. At this very time, no, Bitcoin was not there. Let me see. I don't want to lose my train of thought. I'll just go back to ETH. So we'll go back to ETH here. This is really good, everybody. I'm telling you, this is going to really teach you guys a lot of good stuff here. There we go. So, and folks, I want you guys to be honest with me, all right? Because I want to help you guys. I want to help you guys here. Who entered this position and held it after I told you it was invalid? Just get in the chat. Don't be ashamed. This is how we learn. Okay? Who entered that position? It already hit stop loss. I already said it was invalid, and you were still riding that same trade, praying and hoping that it'll go back up to entry, or you were going to continue to layer entries in the bottom, praying that the market was going to go up to make money, and holding 1,000 pips in drawdown, 2,000 pips in drawdown. Folks, let me tell you something. If you got away with that, you got lucky. That was not skill. That was not a craft. That is called luck. All right? You had your risk management correctly, enough for you not to blow your account. But I know that there was a lot of people that blew their account with that one position, holding it, hoping that the market would shift. So I hope that served as a lesson. Because when a position is invalid, it is invalid. It is not for you to hold it. You have to understand that it is not about catching and closing positions and profits. It's knowing when to cut your losses. And look, I speak from experience. One of the toughest things for me when I trade margin, when I was starting out, was cutting my losses, right? Me being $100 in negative, $200 in negative, 1,000 in negative, 2,000 in negative, and knowing that the position is not going to go my direction, and just hoping that it'll turn around enough to break even or close in a profit. Folks, there is nothing wrong. Okay, there is nothing wrong with you closing a position negative. There's nothing wrong if there's a position that's called by Picasso or myself or whoever, and it is invalid, to exit and close. Because if you really see where ETH went as low, okay? ETH went as low as 3,082. 3,082. Now I see some guys in the chat box saying, "Oh, I held it, but I got back positions lower and I made a profit." Look, you could dance, but that, in my opinion, that's like dancing with the devil. Sometimes it'll go your way. Sometimes the market. Let me show you what the market could do really quickly. You think that it'll bounce, and this is what just keeps happening. You catch a bounce, you fill some more orders, and it drops again. You fill some more orders, and it drops again. And this is the constant flow until your remaining balance in your account is zero. So do not be scared of cutting losses. Do not be scared of exiting a position. Do not, it's okay. On to the next. You'll make it back with the next trade or the following and whatnot. So that's why proper risk management is really important, because you don't want to be dancing. You know, there was the harmonic scanner was printing a position. I get that, but the market then went as low as 3,000, and it's really important, folks. For those of you guys that are in profit, to move your stops. Listen to me. To move your stops to break even. Folks, we are now 100 pips in profit, close to 100 pips in profit on that position. So let me, sorry, I hope you guys are all in profit on that position, all right? I ran out of luck in that trade. Yeah, but listen, look, everyone's going to have your opinion. This could sting, this could hurt. If it hurts, it's for you. If it stings, it's disinfecting, because this is something you got to work on it. You know, I just read a comment, it's not luck, it's intuition. Look, you don't know where the market's going to reverse. I hate to tell you this. I've been trading for a very long time. And you could think that filling lower on a wick will eventually, sometimes you'll get it. But what happens when you continue to do that and it's a real full-fledged flush and sell-off? And you keep adding lower orders and lower entries and lower entries and lower entries. That's how you blow an account. So I hope this served everybody, because what I wanted to share with you guys here in this position now that I got that out of the way, once this setup's invalid, okay? Once a setup is completely invalid, for example, in this setup, right? And guys, I wanted to touch this subject. I don't know if a lot of educators do, but I think it's really important to talk about these things, because I feel like it's the elephant in the room, right? You could have a really good week and a really good month, but if you have that one bad trade you over leverage in, you could blow the account. So it don't matter what you did all of August if you went, you know, buck wild with one setup and it took out all your profits in your account. So that's why I wanted to start that, because obviously we came off a loss from Ethereum and now we are talking XRP. So here we are. So take a look at everything now that ETH did, okay? Here we are. So check me out. Yes, you could always get a better entry if you have confirmations. If you're just buying to be buying, especially if I told you that the level was invalid, unless you have a confirmed setup with confirmations, not an emotional attachment to an entry or an emotional attachment to a negative pretty much balance on your account on a position. You have a real congruent setup, then fill these lower entries. So for example, I know our position was up here, did not go so well. I was already out. I was done. I took my losses, took my L, I was done. But then the scanner called out a position here, right? I did fill these entries. And you would have been up, you know, 500 or so pips, 600 or so pips, and TP1 was hit on the scanner. Now, then the market flushed. No one should have taken an L with the scanner, because stop should have been at break even, period. The market then flushed, as you guys can see. And where it landed was the 618 of the whole entire move. So you can take a look for yourself. a little bit under the pivot, a tad bit under the pivot line. So very interesting that ETH did that, because it did create a lower low here on this setup in itself. In this fractal, or this here, it created a lower low. You can see lower low, right? On the whole swing of things, we still have a low, and higher low. Damn, right? So the perfect entries would have been at about 3,100, really. This happened, if I'm not mistaken, like early morning, where this would have been a really clean setup as well. If you kind of look at it where it was, we have, this is a typical clean setup we would have taken. Resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance, support, and here was the first time we retest this prior high that we created over here. See that? Plus the 618. I don't know about MAs here. Let me look at MAs. MAs would have been the 100, 1 hour. I think we would have lost everything. Yep. So it would have been the 4 hour 100 MA, and looks like a 12 hour daily, 20 on the daily. Let's see. Let me see over here. All right. So when a flush occurs, you know, you kind of want to do something. So that ETH trade, I'm taking a lot of time on this because we're in profit on XRP, we're good. But I want to teach you guys something that could be useful to you on these next trades, right? When a flush occurs, right, and let's say you had an entry, and stop loss hits, for example, on that setup. What you want to do, for the most part, is just let the market settle. Let the market just dust. Let it dust out. Let it just complete its move. And, you know, XRP, the XRP setup that I actually sent is a great example of that. XRP per se was, in that same flush that happened, I wanted to long these levels. I really did. But I wanted to just let the market dust. We entered at 1 in the morning Eastern time. We went for about 150 pips. I put stops to break even. I went to bed. So I woke up to stopped out at break even. I took some partials. No one should have hit stop losses, or anybody should have been, you know, in a negative position here with this trade. And then early morning, I let everybody know, hey, the position's still valid. We re-entered again another 150 pips, and we're back at entry. And again, here hovering at about 50 to 100 pips in profit. Notice how here, at least for XRP, and the same thing goes for ETH. But most of the time when a flush occurs, see here there was an amount of buyers and the market did not turn. Same thing goes. We had the 200 MA. Let me show you guys. Because most of us would have bought here. Look at this setup. Forget what happened here. You don't know that. You do know this. This is what you know. You know that if we run our Fibonacci right now, this is probably sitting at the 786, right? And I'm telling you, if you guys pick, you know, if you really take in what I'm teaching you right now, it's going to really help you out in the long run trading. Look at this trade setup. Boom, impulse, first leg, pullback, 200 MA, 786, prior resistance, support. This looks like a great trade. Let's say you went long here. And it didn't go your way, clearly. Flushed. You don't want to be buying down when there is a nuke or there is literally a falling knife in the market. Once there's an invalidation, for example, off the setup, you took an L, you took the stop loss, let the flush happen. And I'll show you guys what I mean. Let just the flush play out. I was still looking at the market here. I was still observing. Yes, I could have taken a trade. I could have baby scalped here, but what is this? We don't want this. We want a swing trade. We want to move like this. This is what we're looking for. We don't want 100 pips, 50 pips, 20 pips. We're looking for a swing. So here I waited for the market to settle. I wanted for itself, the market itself, to confirm that we were, and we have already planted, a floor. So this morning, for example, this is what I woke up to. I saw that we're creating an inverted head and shoulders, and we have created now a new layer of support, right? Price has found liquidity as low as $1.10, but price overall has found support. So then once I see price and my bias is still to be a buy or to be a sell, then I could execute a trade. Because folks, remember, the impulse was already made. Impulse happened. Price will now consolidate. You want to see as a buyer or seller for price to consolidate with the time frames and the confirmations, then it will help you then make a decision. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down from this range? We're currently long. We're about 100 pips in profit. And re-entered, for example, this was just right now, and boom, there we are. So our first TP is at about $1.80. That'd be about 200 pips that we booked on this position. So far, slow, choppy. It's part of the market. ETH is now at our original entry that it was. Good thing is we created a higher high. Notice inverted head and shoulders. Market is flagging. BTC is now at 49,000. This is a good close. Really good close. So I hope this helps everybody, and if anyone has any questions with this, ask away. Because sometimes, you know, being on the other side of taking a position, it's not just clicking buttons and entering, you know, positions. Yes, it's sometimes really easy to make money and profit on ETH and XRP and Bitcoin, but it's a decision as the position's invalid. Am I still going to enter? What lot size should I be using? Should I really take 5 positions or should I take 4? Should I manage this emotion that I have and I keep seeing the market dump and then maybe I'll get a lower, better entry just because price is under Nick's entry? No, these are things that you need to catch yourself in. And believe it or not, technical analysis is probably the most easiest thing that anybody can master. To be very honest. I think technical analysis as a trader, anybody with enough time and enough practice can know from a certain level if the market goes up or the market goes down. What's difficult as a trader is the mindset. It's the emotion. It's the psychological. Can you bounce back from a loss? Can you manage your emotions correctly? Can you risk a corp correctly? These are now the things that take a skill, you know, for you to build a muscle. So I'm going to be looking at questions here because I really want to help a lot of you guys have this breakthrough. Let me see. How much time are hourly candles? So that's a fantastic question that you just did. Glad you really asked that. Let's go here on the 4 hour. How long? So the question is, how much time or hourly candles do you need to consider it a floor? Very good question. I want you to take a look at this chart. Here we are. Measure time. Low of this move to the high of this move. This was about 2 days and 16 hours. We now go from the top of this move to the bottom of this move. This was about 2 days. We then see another impulse over here. Notice how everything's time related. 16 hours. And then from the recent low of this move right here, it was about 2 days. So you could start using, you could not just measure price, but you could also measure time. So notice how almost all of these movements were almost, you know, very, very perpetual. Let me see over here. There we go. So look over here. From the 0 to the 1 marked a high. From the 1 to the 2. So the same amount of time. So look at here. 2 days, 16 hours.